Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome. Welcome. It is Taco Tuesday. This is Uli's favorite day of the week. Speaking of, our top fans have got to be announced for today's show. Does anybody want to take a guess who they are? All right, in for July's prize is Uli, Gaelic, and Stacy. My goodness, girls. Final countdown. Well, it's really not the final countdown. There's a lot more shows to go for July. And again, this won't be like a members live present. This will actually be something that you possibly will like. So, what do y'all know about the 16 children that were found with rickets, don't know how to read, write, or arithmetic, all piled into a 12 by 12 room in Hamden, Ohio? You probably already know too much because it's damn disgusting. First off, let's say hello and celebrate Laura's favorite day. Now, I'm going to send this to her for Christmas. It's okay if you fall apart sometimes. Tacos fall apart, and we still love them. Again, this is Laura's favorite day. What on earth is going on around here? And we have a couple of birthdays to celebrate. First, let's start with my grandmother. I called her Manu. Now, check out that 1977 leisure suit. Check out her full tray of cigarettes, and the girl on her lap with the big, bright red hair is yours truly. That's me. Happy birthday, Manu. In heaven, you would be 103 today. I'm sorry, but the polyester and the whole tray full of cigarette butts brings me right back. But I will say, the hair is the same. All right, now we're going to get to my BFF. We clicked like peas and carrots in 5th grade. We have been through weddings, funerals, divorces. I mean, you name it, everything. Since we were 10 years old. Well, 9 going on 10. And this little picture of hers is one of my favorites. This is my BFF. Here's my girl right here, Jennifer. She might be a bigger Sooners fan than me. I don't know, though. I can't trust her because she also likes the Yankees. Girl, I know you're listening. This is for you. Nothing like embarrassing your friend on her birthday. Ooh, what to do? It's okay. Let's take a second and tell everybody good morning and celebrate Taco Tuesday. Why don't we? Sad to say, but Gary Siders Jr., willingly or not, actually saved the 16 children. You want to know how he did it? He had warrants out for his arrest, one being indecent exposure. Now, he's the guy with the black hair and the beard. All right, to his left is his daddy. That would be Gary Sider Sr. He is 73 years old, and he's not going to make it too long in the pen. Just let you know. To his left would be his wife, Christina Siders. Now, the woman all the way on the right is Elizabeth Siders. Now, where it gets really fuzzy is that the internet is wilding right now because they're really taking up for Elizabeth. I get it. I do. You know why? Because here's Elizabeth. She was introduced to Perverto Jr. when she was 11 years old. She became pregnant at 12, had a baby at 13, had another baby at 14, and then in West Virginia, her and Perverto Jr. got married. Now, altogether, there are 16 living children. There's 2 sets of twins that didn't make it. One set was conjoined, delivered in the hospital via C-section in Columbus, Ohio. Okay? Probably the only hospital birth she's ever had. Now, if you see how she looked 10 years ago, big difference. Big difference. Okay? The Siders make the Duggars look infertile. I'm telling you. Does she not look totally different? Shocking AF. I will say when the cheek swabs come back from the 16 living children, it's going to be a shock and a half because I have a feeling Perverto Sr. and Perverto Jr. were taking turns on Elizabeth. She was served up on a silver platter by her parents, the Russell family. The Smith family co-signed it, and the Siders had no problem signing a marriage license in West Virginia to get those 2 hitched. So let's get to it. We have a lot of learning to do today. By the way, if you are not subscribed, please subscribe to this channel because you're going to love it here. This is from WBNS. What do we know about the suspects? Sad to say, I think we already know enough. And I do want to know, does she have pink eye? Or is it from all the feces and ammonia smell? Because a lot of people are allergic to that. The ammonia was so bad. The ammonia smell was so bad in that house that old wallpaper was peeling. That's one thing, because wallpaper after a long time will peel, especially when you don't take care of your shit. Paint was coming off. But nope, she delivered her first baby at 13, second at 14, and then they got married in West Virginia. This is not an unknown situation. I don't care what the neighbors say. I don't care what her parents say. I don't care what the Smiths say. I don't care what the people at Circle K say. I don't care what the dollar store says. I don't care. They all knew. The Turpins have nothing on what went on in Hamden, Ohio.
Another thing about this house on Omer Street that we've showed you, the Attorney General says as officers were doing that search yesterday, they were literally about to fall through the floor there.
So who is this family? Well, 10 TV's Carla Rogner has spent the day reaching out to relatives.
Reaching out to relatives. I wouldn't take that call if that was my bloodline, but that's just me. Falling through the floor, covered in poo-poo. Good question, Jam. Is Hamden, Ohio close to West Virginia? Well, I'm sure we have some Ohio people in here or West Virginians that can answer that. Or I can just Google it up. Let's see. 40 miles. 40 miles. So they just went across the border. Not that border. West Virginia, Ohio, 4 years ago. And you want to hear the shits of it? Besides the shit all over the house? Literally? The landlady passed away and the water bill was in her name. And they had basically been living free for I can't tell you how long. Debbie, were there drugs involved? That has not been disclosed. I do not know. I do not know. Blessed Mama. So where were the kids she's had at 13 and 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20? She's 33 years old. She's 33 years old. Some are in the hospital, some are in state care. She's only 33 years old. And before anyone jumps down my throat, I'm only telling you what's going on.
And digging through records to learn more about the Siders family.
She joins us now live from Gallia County. And Carly, you've been on top of this story since it first broke yesterday.
Yeah, well, we learned through court records that a place they've spent a lot of time in is here in Gallipolis, Ohio. This is in Gallia County, but we spent the day going to some of their old addresses here and talking to neighbors, and no one recognized the family members, let alone knew there were children living inside those homes. This morning, the Vinton County prosecutor referred to Gary Sr. and Christina as the grandparents and said Elizabeth and Gary Jr. were parents, but would not say if Elizabeth was the mother of all 16.
She's 33. Okay? Telling you, when those cheek swabs come back, they're going to find out 18, 16, 15, 14, 13, 11, 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 4, 2, 2, 1, 1. Obviously, you know there's several sets of twins. They might find out that not every child was pollinated by old Pervo Jr., okay? Telling you, it's some sick shit. And said, mind blown, for sure.
Children. We learned through a marriage record from West Virginia that Gary Siders Jr. wed Elizabeth in 2008 when she was just 15 years old. That's the same year the first child was born.
Nope. Wrong. She had her first child at 13. She had another one at 14. And then they got married in West Virginia. Why, you ask? The difference? because the first two do not have birth certificates, cannot be proven. Let me tell you how bad it is. When they brought in all the children, I'm not talking about the 1-year-olds, the 2-year-olds, the 4-year-olds. I'm talking 18, 16, 17, 14, 15. They had a guesstimate of when their birthdays were. They had an idea of the month, but the date and year totally escaped them.
We looked through the family's criminal records. Aside from a few traffic issues, a DUI for Gary Sr. in 1998 was the most serious offense we could find. Authorities say the family bounced around southeastern Ohio, even Wisconsin, before landing in the Vinton County home where authorities uncovered this house of horrors.
Just almost beyond comprehension that this stuff can happen in our country, and that it can happen in a house at the hands of people who are in charge of taking care of kids.
Yeah, right now, all 4 members.
Mindy has a question. Can't wait to hear about the child welfare actions in this case. You're going to find none. If it wasn't for Gary Jr.'s warrants for indecent exposure, nothing would have been found. Nothing. They were all stacked in a 12 by 12 room like sardines. Child welfare is obviously involved now, but they were none the wiser before.
Of the Siders family are in jail on a $300,000 bond. Authorities said this morning the focus now turns towards getting justice for these 16 children. Reporting live in Gallia County, Carla Rogner, 10 TV News.
All right. Now, what always affects me deeply in these cases, besides the obvious, and we know the obvious, it's always the victim. But the first responders and what they walk up to, I don't care how long they've been on the force. I don't care what ribbon they got in the police academy. As a human being with a family, children, grandchildren of your own, you can't be prepared for this. Some of those kids were near death. True story. Rickets? Does anyone even know what the hell a ricket is? Some of these children were so malnourished, they had rickets. Here's a first responder that will tell you exactly what he saw when he got to the house. He also looks like one of Uli's handymen. I'm going to put the link up because now the word of the day is rickets, and it seems that a lot of you know what rickets are. Now, not to put anything more on these children, I am just going to throw it out there. YouTube rejected my comment. I'm trying to put the damn StreamYard link up YouTube. By the way, if you're in the bushes, come out and say hi. If you are not subscribed, take a second. Doesn't cost you a penny. Give me a second and I'll get it put up. These people are the damn devil's rejects. Okay? That's all there is to it. They are the devil's rejects. These kids can't read, write, simple math. However, Elizabeth's brother says they speak fluently. So we have a little bit of confusion going on. But I'm going to throw it out there into the universe and you tell me what you think. If Gary Jr. was indecently exposing himself, do you think something might have happened as far as SA inside that nasty ass house? Let's think about that. Am I wishing anything more on those children? Absolutely not. But common sense tells me that when they went to get him for the warrants, one was indecent exposure. Actually, I think two. If he's got that sort of sexual deviancy, that tells me these children might have gone through more. The other Rockin' Robin, no grandparents anywhere? Are you kidding me? The grandparents lived there. Elizabeth's parents, the Russells, visited. They all knew. They all knew. Now, I'm going to do an uneducated poll. Is Elizabeth a victim or not? Put 1 in for yes and 2 for no. I'm going to repeat my question. Is Elizabeth a victim or not? 1 for yes, she's a victim. 2 for no, she's not. She knew better. Woo! Seems like most of you say she is a victim. And I think that's the way that the courts are going to look at it. I do. I think that's the way they're going to look at it. She did not understand what $300,000 meant, which is her bond. And all she kept asking was, when do I see my kids? When do I see my kids? I'm afraid to know. I'm really afraid to know. I am trying to put the link for anyone to come up, and YouTube is not letting me. So I'm going to send it to our managing moderators on their Messenger, Facebook, and see if they can get it to work. YouTube is hating my ass today. So obviously he looks like a young kid. He knows they had to life flight 2 of the kids that were close to death. He said, Jenica, I wonder if any children didn't make it at birth. 2 sets of twins that we know of. Yeah. 2 sets of twins passed away. That means all together, Elizabeth Sider, her uterus has had 20 children inside of it. Please remember, she's only 33 years old. And they probably won't do too much to her. 16 living children, 2 sets of twins that didn't make it. If Shannon Gaelic and Ange can check their Facebook and put the StreamYard link in for someone to come up, I would appreciate it because YouTube's not being very nice to me. 2 Boston moms, 20? Yeah, 16 living children, 2 sets of twins that didn't make it. 2 plus 2 is 4. That's 20 kids. He said our livestock around here lives in better conditions. Chrissy, thank you. 2 sets of twins, 4 and 18 months. My goodness. And as far as her hair, I don't know if she got her a county shower or her hair is just greasy. Greasy. Her eyes are pink. From what? I don't know. But you can tell she has very nice features, which tells me something that I really didn't want to discuss. Junior and Senior have been taking turns on her since she was 11, and probably other people too. And her parents could have cared less. Now you ask, what's going to happen to her parents? Nothing. Nothing. Statute of limitations ran out a long time ago for child endangerment against Elizabeth. But you be the judge, you be the jury. Is she a victim? Take a second to hit the like and don't forget to subscribe to this channel because we got a lot going on with this case. Annette said, who are her parents? Their last name is Russell. And what I read is they still live in West Virginia. Annette said, how did her parents allow this? Good question. Very good question. Tanya Bear, her parents don't have the last name on what I seen. You mean their Facebook? Or what are you talking about? I'm confused by the question, but I would like to know. Thank you. So anyway, they had a lot of stuff going on around town. They went to the Circle K quite a bit. They went to the Dollar General quite a bit. And I guess everyone just looked the other way. That's it. And if it wasn't for Junior exposing himself in public, no one would be none the wiser about what was going on in the home. So let's get to the dollar store. What's with the vegetable oil thing? They used it as lubricant and as a diuretic to go poo-poo if you get, as Candace Wells would say, backed up. Yeah. It is sad. It is crazy. And I don't even know what I would do if I happen to come across something like that. I don't know. Some people say the vegetable oil was to keep the kids nourished. According to the Columbus Times, it had to do with lubricant and making sure everyone could go poop. But I wouldn't be surprised by any of it. True story, I wouldn't be surprised. That's the type of smell that's going to permeate into your nose. It's going to attach to your clothes. And as far as calling CPS, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I'm not going to be popular for this. CPS are social workers. You call the police. The police are the ones that should assign a social worker if need be. I'm telling you, our system is bass-ackwards. This head petting bullshit is not working out for the kids. Not at all. Dear goodness. Dear goodness. Dear goodness. And I have a feeling some people did reach out and nothing was done about it. I mean, the Attorney General said himself that there wasn't enough hot water and Irish Spring to get that smell off of him. But it's rinse repeat. I'll tell everybody what I saw, but when I saw it, I didn't do shit. Telling you, true story. Well, hello, Bugs. How are you, baby? Now we have some relatives talking. And let's not forget, these people moved around a lot. We already saw the different counties in Ohio they lived in. They were at this residence for 4 years. And in that 4 years, their landlord died. And as much as people keep saying, oh, but they paid their rent every month. They paid their rent every month. What'd you do? Did you mail your check to heaven? Because that woman had no surviving members of her family. Everything went into probate. This was not a secret.
This morning in a case where 16 children were rescued from a house in Vinton County described as not fit for livestock. 13 News is digging deeper into this case. We've uncovered new information and confirmed through official documents that there were even another set of twins born into the Siders family. This set of twins, however, died the same day they were born.
Now, I don't know if they mean the twins that were fraternal that were stillborn, or the conjoined twins that were born at 24 weeks. So I don't know what twins he's talking about. We'll find out.
Over an hour ago, 13 News anchor Amanda Barron sat down with an in-law of the Siders family. He tells us,
oh, I'd claim to be an in-law too. I'd be like, yeah, that's not my blood. I don't care if that was my identical twin. I'd be like, oh, hell no, I don't know them.
Because of what's going on, his family is now getting death threats. Now, Amanda joins us live right now from the home in Vinton County. Family members say that they were kept at an arm's length, but always helped when asked. Amanda?
Yeah, Ronnie Fletcher says, Zach, that they always jumped in to help where they could. He's the Siders' son-in-law, and he says that he and the extended family were not aware of the extent of what was happening, investigators say, inside this home behind me. He says they often didn't know where that family lived, and they certainly didn't know about this home that you see still taped off nearly a week later. Can also tell you this afternoon that the family says they found out about this situation like the rest of us on the news, and now they're receiving death threats as a result of these arrests that have been made and the welfare of the children that they are concerned about, and so are the rest of us this hour. They say that not only are they receiving death threats, they've been forced to miss work, and they're struggling to put food on the table.
It's been awful for the people that had no idea that was going on in the house that are related to this family. I mean, we've had death threats. We've been told that we need to be put in front of a execution line.
Boy, I love when people become victims overnight. I love it. Everyone from the Circle K to the neighbors, to said in-law, to the dollar store. Oh, I'm getting death threats. I'm getting death threats. Oh my gosh. And you're laughing. You're laughing, bud. Ronnie Fletcher. You're laughing.
Kind of guns and, killed and, burned in, it's been bad. Gary and Lynn did not raise their children that way. They're the 4 daughters that got out are successful members of society. We've raised our children. Our children have, college degrees or, whatever, and for us to be put into all this, and there's generational incest and, this is going on generational. It's not true. This is all.
What do you mean it's not true? What do you mean it's not true, Ronnie Fletcher? They have sent the DNA from all the children to a lab in Texas. So don't tell me that there's no incest, because you don't know until you know. I hope there's not. I hope there's not. But the fact that you have basically grown up people, 16, 17, 18, going on 19, that only have a guesstimate of when their birthday is. And you have siblings that look a little too much like their grandpa.
Into that one home. The last time we heard from them, we gave them a car. And it's probably close to a year ago now. Other than them, Lynn calling us and asking for money, or, they needed help with the water bill, or, whatever. And if we had it, we sent it. If we didn't, one of the other daughters did. So we've done what we could for that family at the arm's length that they was keeping us at.
Ronnie says they did whatever they could to help at any time. As you just heard from, he says his wife would give anyone her last $5 to help somebody. Not only that, Ronnie says that they have taken in children from another family member, and they're helping to raise them right now because of another situation that family's dealing with. So this is a family who says they would step in to help. Coming up tonight at 6, you'll hear what he thinks justice looks like in this situation, and you'll also hear what his message is to those children who are now recovering.
Who's knocking at the door? Well, if it's not my Irish cousin, Gaelic girl, what's up? What do you think about this?
Horrendous, horrific. There just aren't enough words to describe it. Demonic.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's like something Steven Spielberg sat down and wrote.
Stephen King couldn't
Or
make
Stephen King. Sorry, I got the wrong one.
No, you're exactly right. I smell what you're stepping in. There's a reason that the DNA is going to a lab in Texas, according to their local media.
I would imagine so.
And here's the whole thing. If Elizabeth says those are all her children, why are they dead set on finding out who's the daddy?
They possibly suspect some incestuous behavior. Is really the only thing I can come to, unless they're checking to see if Elizabeth was shared by her husband, Gary Jr.
Gary Jr. and Gary Sr. Now let's look at her. I don't know if she had a county shower or if that's more vegetable oil for different things. You can tell she is a fortunate looking woman.
Mm-hmm.
She's a pretty girl.
That pretty girl was groomed.
Pretty girl was groomed. Is she a victim? Because she's charged. She's charged with 17 felonies.
She's a victim in the sense that she was groomed. She had babies from a very young age. It appears her family had no qualms about her being married at 15, I believe it was. She was a child bride.
Well, Christine and Gary Sr. are Gary Jr.'s parents. And her parents are real right pieces of shit as well, because they co-signed this mess.
Oh, yeah. And I believe the baby was born 2 months after the marriage, the first baby. That is known that they had, or at the time of the marriage, at least 2 months later, that child was born. Whether it's the first one or not, I'm not sure, because nobody actually seems to know if the previous children were Gary Jr.'s or not.
I would like to know as well, because I can tell you something right now. Several of these children come from an incestual relationship. Some of the children have come from rape. I know I'm not supposed to use those words on YouTube, but I believe I can talk to everybody frankly.
Yeah. And I believe there was a lot of DV involved, of course.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, sure there was. Sure there was. The ammonia smell was so bad in that house. I don't know if Elizabeth has pink eye or what's going on. But it was so bad that the paint was peeling off the walls, Gaelic.
It takes some doing for something to peel paint off walls. Have you ever gone to repaint your room and you're scraping paint for like what feels like a month so you can repaint it?
Goodness.
How bad can that stench be that the paint was coming off the walls?
Well, think about it. I mean, since they're the crime scene now, I mean, they're wearing suits that look like Tyvek suits, like something from Back to the Future. Chrissy said, if true, why aren't they charged with incest then? They don't have the results back, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope there's no incest.
I'd truly hope for her sake that isn't the case and that isn't what was going on. But I just do not understand how that many children lived in a home with all those adults and nobody saw nothing.
Let me clue you in. They saw it all.
Mm-hmm.
There was 4 adults in the home. Elizabeth's parents would come and see all of the kids. Said nothing. The Smith family, which this is going to get you, Denny, are big Bill Gothard followers.
Oh, my sweet Lord. Yeah, I can see why they allowed their daughter marry at such a young age now. Makes sense. However, if it is as said, they came to see their grandchildren and left them in that state, it's crazy because Bill Gothard's thing is, you know, girls have to look pretty, dress properly, and all that sort of thing. So they obviously just didn't care. could anybody honestly look at their grandchildren in that state and not care? Anyone with a heart of any sort? I mean, yeah, you can report it to DCFS, but that was a job for Ellie.
Yeah, I'm getting really tired of social workers muddying up the pond when it needs to be a police matter and then let the social services follow up later. Let's see what the neighbors have to say.
People have pleaded not guilty in Vinton County Court after 16 children were found with serious problems, serious medical conditions, and they were removed from a home in the community of Hamden. Thanks for joining us. I'm Amanda Barron.
And I'm Marilyn McAuliffe. According to Vinton County Prosecutor William Archer, the 4 suspects you see here, Gary Siders Jr., Gary Siders Sr., Elizabeth Siders, and Christina Siders.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and break it to y'all gently. Pervert Sr. has dementia. Okay?
Yes. Yes.
Doesn't mean he is not culpable. Does not mean he shouldn't spend his last breaths in jail. I'm going to go ahead and say Christina Siders at the end is a real Ma Barker.
Actually, I thought of that when I heard this story.
Mhm.
I think Gary Jr. was golden boy and could pretty much do what he liked. And nobody passed any remarks.
There's other siblings.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Heather Mack. Gary Sr. has blue eyes. One blue this way and one blue that way. Oh my goodness. Can we go ahead and give her comment of the day? Dear goodness. Dear goodness. Heather, did you get a joke book for Christmas? That was a good one. Dementia is not going to get him out of this.
No.
The only thing that saved those children was Gary Siders Jr., him being such a perverto that he was indecently exposing himself, and they had to serve a warrant.
Which makes you wonder, was Gary Jr. Possibly, I'm not saying he was, but possibly interfering with other women or
the kids.
Or the kids.
This stuff's gone on for years. Trust me, the dementia didn't start this. Christina taking care of him didn't start this. This has been going on since Elizabeth was 11 years old. The question is, are they going to turn her loose and get her mental health?
I don't know if she's past the point of recovery, to be honest. She was 11. Also, I don't know, will she turn on hubby?
Mhm.
I have a feeling if her family did follow the Bill Gothard religion and she was in any way involved, she sees it as her, what can I call it, dedication in life to her husband and their covenant in their marriage. So if she is any following in or leaning in that way, she is not going to go against Junior at all.
No, and the only one that I can find through my deep dive research that was into the Gothard methods was the Smith family, which are actually an extended family to both the Russells and the Siders.
Mhm.
Kelsey Blue, where was he exposing himself? Oh, where wasn't he? Basically everywhere.
Public place. I believe was in public.
Oh yeah. He was flashing little girls coming out of the Burger King. Let's see, as people were walking out of a restaurant, a name I've never heard before, he acted like he was peeing, but he was doing something else. Just use your worst imagination. You can figure it out.
Yeah, like, why would you pee outside the store that you could go in and ask, can I use your toilets?
Indecency. That's why.
Yeah.
Are all facing
Sure.
16 counts of child endangerment, which is a second-degree felony. According to the judge, each charge is punishable by 2 to 12 years in prison. The judge has set all 4 of their bonds at $300,000 cash or surety. 13 News reporter Kelly McElhaney joins us now from the Vinton County Courthouse with more details from today's hearing.
The courtroom was absolutely packed today, waiting to hear more details from the arraignment of those 4 suspects, which officials continue to call one of the most brutal cases that they've witnessed in their careers. At this time, all 4 of those individuals have pled not guilty. Their arraignments were held over Zoom. Gary Siders Sr. and Gary Siders Jr. were arraigned first. The judge set their bonds to $300,000 cash or surety.
And those idiots can't even compute that a bond is 10%. Okay? So they know what they got to cough up. They have no surety. You know why? Because they're renting a house.
Exactly.
And the landlord's dead.
Who was also apparently a great aunt or an aunt or some way related. And she never actually was in touch with them. They used a Dropbox to pay the rent.
Mhm.
And I'm sure obviously after she died, they weren't in any hurry to do that.
What to do? What to do? It's disgusting.
I mean, all around, it's like a freaking nightmare. If you tried to make that for networks, I don't think you could. Or sorry, Netflix or any of those Hulu.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play my bingo card right now. I'm going to say they're going to give Christina 15 to 20. They're going to give Senior, when the DNA comes back, they're going to give him life, which might be 3 years of his life. They're going to give Junior life plus. And I'm going to say that Elizabeth's attorney is going to throw her at the mercy of the court, and probably with a lifetime protection against the kids so she can't be around them. Will that stick? I don't know.
I'm sure that's what he's going to try. He's most certainly going to bring up, she was groomed from a very young age and obviously a victim of domestic violence and rape and Lord knows what else in that house.
Look at the screen. It's our old friend Tilly King. Girl, I have missed you. Everybody, I love when our friends get back together.
Christina and Elizabeth Siders were arraigned after. Both of the women also pleaded not guilty, and their bonds were also set $300,000 cash or surety. According to the judge, each charge is punishable by 2 to 12 years in prison.
As we sat and we talked about it, the team kind of talked about it, it really looked third world. It's the type of thing that we're not used to seeing here in America, where our children are really our most precious resource, and we have an obligation as parents, guardians, and custodians to love our kids, to care for our kids, to ensure that they are safe, that they are well fed, that they have safe conditions to live in. That's what we expect here in America.
The suspects are set to have no contact with their co-defendants or their victims, and if they make bond, they will be required to wear GPS monitors. The court will also be providing them with attorneys. Currently, the 16 children are being treated for serious medical conditions across the state.
Across the state, and one is in a children's hospital in Kentucky, according to a local newspaper. They had like 2 out, allegedly.
Allegedly, one of those children is intubated.
Oh, I did not read that yet.
Yeah, I read that this morning, that one of them had to be intubated for their breathing. I mean, you're talking 2 years to 12 years? There's no justice in that. Or getting out on an ankle monitor. They should never be allowed out.
Well, where are they going to go?
I guess back to the rat hole, is it? But it's a crime scene now, so. But then are they going to be able to come up with bond is another thing.
$30,000? No. They were calling old boy for water bill money. They don't have $30,000. No. And what bondsman is going to put his neck out to keep them out and protect them? No.
Officials have also confirmed that this is not
just my opinion, by the way,
a human trafficking situation, but what they're calling a multi-generational family living in a limited situation. They've also said that their number one concern at this point in time is with the welfare of all those children. They've also said that they are being treated at different hospitals across the state at this point in time. Reporting in Benton County, Kelly McElhaney, 13 News.
Thanks. After the arraignment, Ohio's Attorney General Andy Wilson, along with the Benton County Sheriff and prosecutor, held a news conference to talk about more regarding this case. The Attorney General says the family is believed to have been in Benton County for the past 4 years. He says they spoke to neighbors who say they had no idea that children were even living there. He says the home was in deplorable conditions, comparing it to a third world country. He confirmed a
T-Walk said, can you imagine the respiratory diseases the kids have? Maybe that's why it has been rumored/reported that there's a couple of them that had to be intubated.
Not to mention having rickets, a disease that has basically been eradicated. It used to happen to sailors on ships who would be on ships for months and months at a time and wouldn't get, proper vegetables, proper vitamin C, things like that. But rickets is very rare nowadays if you've taken care of your children properly.
I couldn't imagine. I could not imagine. And let's get something straight. They had food stamps for every child. They had Medicaid for every child. Old boy that says he didn't know what was going on gave them a car and would help them with the water bill. So he knew something was going on. One child is being treated for a vitamin D deficiency.
Yeah.
Tells me no sunlight.
It appears they were locked in that horrific, I think it was 12 by 12 room constantly, and as they made their trip to the dollar store last thing at night. Obviously, they didn't want to run into people. One child was brought just, I don't know, was it seen as a treat? But as that lady said, the child was almost the face covered, malnourished, didn't speak. I mean, if you saw that every night, alarm bells would have to go off somewhere in their head. Well, they would for me.
Jews Mies In, don't know how to pronounce it, said they need to find the judge that emancipated her from her parents and why the judge agreed to it. I haven't read anything about emancipation, so you'll have to educate me on that. What I have read is that her, Elizabeth, and Junior got married at the age of 18 and 15, and her parents signed off on it. So I guess you can call that the emancipation. I do blame her parents. By the way, right now, 84% of you say Elizabeth is a victim. Okay.
Search warrant in a parallel investigation led law enforcement to the home, which is when they discovered those children. Wilson says they were all taken to the hospital in different conditions. Some examined, some admitted. One was in the ICU, critically ill at one point.
I've been in incredibly poverty-stricken areas in the inner city. I've been in poverty-stricken areas in rural Ohio, and I've just never seen anything like I saw today with respect to those kids.
You might remember yesterday they called it pure evil. According to the prosecutor, at this point in the investigation, the suspects are being called grandma, grandpa, mother, and father in relation to those children. We want to go live now to Vinton County outside.
I kind of disagree with him there.
Okay, go ahead. Please tell me, because you're reading my mind.
There are people on the breadline, parents in this country, and I'm sure in America, it's not a one country thing, that are basically living paycheck to paycheck on the breadline, but they will make sure their children are fed and go hungry themselves.
Where did all the damn welfare money go? Let's say they only got $100 per kid. Not one person in that home was working. That's $600 a month. No one should have any malnutrition.
No.
No one should have any vitamin D deficiency. Not one person should have a problem. Not to mention, they had Medicaid from West Virginia and they got it in Ohio. So Elizabeth was that intelligent.
Yeah. I believe she knew those type of things, but did Gary allow her to say attend a doctor with a child if the child was ill? We don't know.
It has been reported that some of the children do not have birth certificates or social security numbers. Well, the ones that were in the hospital, they definitely got state benefits for.
Yeah.
And I'll die on that hill.
The home where those children were.
And that's where we find 13 News reporter Sarah Davis joining us with reaction from neighbors. Sarah, what are you hearing from them?
Well, Amanda, Marilee, folks that we talked to were surprised to hear that anyone at all was living in this house, let alone 16 children and 4 adults. They said they thought it was
Yeah, 16 children and 4 adults. You're right. My dad is on a cruise, which is one of the coolest things I've ever heard in my life. You might have already talked about it, but what about all the marks on Elizabeth's arms? Well, from what the New York Post said, there was a lot of domestic violence going on as well. You ask who was doing it? Who was beating on who? Look to the far left of your screen. Crazy Christy. Christy Sider. She beat the hell out of everybody in that house, according to unconfirmed reports. Allegedly. Hate that shit.
Completely abandoned. The residence on Omer Street in Hamden Township area is being called a third world scene after police say 4 adults were keeping 16 children ages 1.5 to 18 in, quote, horrendous and deplorable conditions. Ohio Attorney General Andy Wilson said the children were not enrolled in school. Some of them couldn't speak and one couldn't spell their own name. All 16 children have been removed from the house, and while investigators work to get more details on what exactly happened inside those 4 walls, neighbors and residents are trying to wrap their heads around it too. When it happened just down the street from them, one neighbor had no idea anyone lived inside the house.
Well, honestly, the house seemed abandoned, and it was a shock because we had never seen or heard anything from that house. So, to me, it seemed like they had them locked in there because I had never seen a child in that yard or the people that was just in court. That's the first time I've seen them.
Odell says there were no signs of life.
Odell says there's no signs of life. He thought the house was abandoned. He thought it was just a junk property that somebody was going to clean up and flip. Okay? Nobody asked about schooling because they moved around so much. And Sinclair Reed, who I absolutely love the comments that are left from Sinclair on the channel, said, I can smell the house from here. I tell you what, I love technology, but when I saw something the other day, can't remember what channel it was, some cable thing, that old Elon is going to do something called smell-o-vision. My answer, no.
Yeah, we all have our senses. We can smell.
Yeah.
We don't need smell-o-vision.
I don't want to smell that house. No.
Absolutely no way.
Now, they haven't made a count of all the animals in there, but a lot of the feces were human. Now, I'm going to put you on, you're in the hot seat right now, Gaelic.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I'm going to throw a number out there. Why would an 8-year-old not be potty trained?
Because nobody bothered to potty train them.
Okay, but at 8 years old, don't you think you would know how to?
Children that age, when not properly trained, they basically learn what they see. So to them, I'm assuming that was quite natural behavior. As horrific as that sounds, I mean, yes, I can understand 16 kids. It takes some amount of potty training, but for children to feel that that was okay, it's either something they saw or unfortunately they were just left in that room and had no access to bathrooms or toilets or anything like that, and basically went to the toilet wherever, when and if they needed to. I mean,
I had a hard time letting go of my youngest son because he's the baby. Didn't want him to walk. Talk was fine. And when he brought me wipes and a diaper, I'm like, yeah, you know what's going on. So sit right here and do your business. Hold on. We have a comment. Baltimore, Ohio, Trains fans. They're not feral children. That's what I want to know. Elizabeth's brother says, no way, no how. He has text messages from the older ones. Now, if they're not feral, which is a horrible word to say when you're talking about a child, why was there poo-poo and pee-pee all over the house?
I have to agree. I do think feral is a horrible, horrible term to use.
That's their word, not ours. Their word, not ours.
Oh, I know that, yeah. But apparently some of them are nonverbal. That's what appears to be coming out. Some of them have little to no speech. Some have a bit of speech. And the oldest child couldn't even spell her own name. Or the oldest girl, I should say. I'm not sure she's the oldest child, but
just the rough, they're taking a guesstimate of when they were born. It's disturbing. And trust me, I don't believe everything that the media says, but the court records are going to show it. Sinclair is rage cleaning the home. My goodness. My goodness. Reading, writing, simple arithmetic. They can't do it.
No noise and no one outside of the house, giving him and so many other neighbors no suspicions at all of anything going on. And the scene here is still surrounded by police tape, but you can see from the street just piles of trash on the porch and in the yard, as well as a pile of old children's toys and a dog food bowl that's still completely full. Amanda, Marilee.
All right, Sarah, thanks so much for that live report. Anyone with information about the family is asked to call the Ohio Attorney General's office. They have a tip line.
He says that they are still in the very beginning stages of this investigation, and they will do what they can to bring justice to these children. For the very latest on the case, you can head to our website, WOWKTV.com.
Dear goodness. And also, if you guys want to take a look around, we have some new friends in here. And we have a lot in the bushes. We have over 500 people in here right now. So let's take a second and say, come out and say howdy. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you so much, everybody, because these cases are not just important to you, not just important to the victims, but they're important to members of our society that want better for society. Okay?
Yeah. I mean, in this day and age, this should not be happening.
Sinclair's got jokes all day. Sinclair, go ahead and just change your name to Team Lurker. Love you, boo. All right, so now I get to one of my favorite parts. This is when the attorney comes in to say everything is false. Love it, love it, love it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and give a little bit of, not going to be popular opinion. I'm going to go ahead and give a little bit of credence, just a tad bit, to Elizabeth. since she was groomed from the age of 11 to 33. Okay?
She was a child.
Mm-hmm. 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 I'm going to give her just a tad bit. She's probably the only one that's got a fighting chance in hell to see the light of day after this. I'm on the fence as to where I feel for her or not. But what's going to tip my teeter-totter is when the DNA comes back, if all the kids are his, then I'm going to be like, home skillet,
Yeah.
it could have done better. If it turns out that some of the kids were from other family members, teeter-totter goes the other way. So let's see what this amazing attorney has to say.
Behind the doors of this home in the small village of Hamden, investigators say 16 children were living in horrific conditions.
The kids were all very thin, very, very thin, ghost white.
We spoke with this local employee that says that she regularly saw Elizabeth Siders and Gary Siders Jr. and some
get so damn tired of convenience stores, dollar stores, and freaking laundry being brought up in every one of these cases.
times one of their kids at the local Dollar General. Each of these 4 individuals are charged with multiple counts of felony child endangerment and were arrested on Tuesday. The Ohio Attorney General said the conditions inside the home were unlike anything he'd expect to see in Ohio, comparing them to a third world country. And authorities found the kids living in feces, urine, malnourished, and some near death.
I can tell you that.
By the way, not to break up the convo, we do have a Discord where it costs you nothing. Okay. We absorb the cost from this channel. If you would like to join to continue the conversation after, please send me an email and it will go through the proper channels and we'll get you in. The rules are very simple. Are there rules, Gaelic?
Oh, there are rules, but very, very lax rules.
Very, very, very lax rules. Everyone, can we please welcome Kel's OG Troublemaker to the family?
Welcome.
This is pure evil.
Thursday, Elizabeth Siders' attorney, Tommy Stolley, met with her for the first time in jail after she had been charged with 16 counts of child endangerment. He says he went into the meeting expecting the worst.
There was a comment that livestock had been treated better, so I really didn't know what I was walking into.
But after they talked for more than an hour and a half.
The person that I met with, though, is not someone who comes across as pure evil. It's just evil requires malice. And the person that I saw there, Elizabeth, she doesn't have that in her eyes, at least from this initial.
He said that she was timid, exhausted, and had been emotional since being arrested. He also believes that she isn't a victim in this.
I asked her that question in a couple roundabout ways, and she did not have a typical victim-minded mindset.
She doesn't have I love he has like the super lawyer behind him. Yeah. Anyway, she doesn't have the typical victim mentality. I don't know what a typical mentality is. Do you, Gaelic?
No, and I highly doubt she would feel that way because from 11 years of age, this has been her life. For her, it's normal.
Well, I mean, being sold to the wolves at the age of 11, I'm going to go ahead and say she was a victim at some point.
Oh,
But
yeah.
after 16 kids and 4 that have passed away, you would think at some point she would wake up.
You would, to be fair, and to lose those babies as well. It appears there's just a marker somewhere, and one set of twins are buried there. But I think the DV aspect comes into it. This is how he always treated her, so she expected nothing better.
Well, you've had children before. Put a 1 in chat if you've had a child before.
I've had 2.
I've had 3. Prenatal care is very important. It is
unbelievably
that she did not receive.
I mean, it's just going to be a whole other mess trying to figure out which of these children were born in a hospital situation, or were they all delivered by home birth?
That's a good question, because they're having a hard time. Today, I'm going to say she could have gotten away. Tomorrow, with more information, I'm going to say, oh my gosh. Get her some help. Get the kids some help and move along.
Well, either way, she needs a humongous amount of help.
But the 3 people to her left, rot. Just get to rotten.
Yeah.
You're exactly right, Jews Mees. The article I read said the twins in 22 was conjoined twins. There was no way they could live. Yep. And they were born at 24 weeks, which had to have been, I'm guessing, a cesarean section.
When answering,
He says her focus wasn't on getting out of jail. It was on her children.
she did say that she misses her kids. And that's one of the things that shocked me was the first question that she asked me was, are the kids okay? When can I see the kids? And do you know anything about where they are? That was the first series of questions that she asked me, which, kind of surprised me. Usually when people are in jail, they ask, can you get me out of here? When can I get out? So I think that was telling.
Stolle says the case is still in its early stages and believes more information will come out as the case moves forward.
A lot of the snapshots that got out there into the media and on press conferences were based on those initial perceptions. And that's not the whole story. It takes time. But unfortunately, first impressions really do matter. And so when we have language like pure evil, it's important to combat that language and say innocent until proven guilty. Because that's what Elizabeth is, and that's what all of her family who lived in that home are.
Which they are until such time as the case goes to court.
And it will. It will go to court. And it's tough. It is tough.
I mean, at this point, with just what is being alleged and some of the discovery that the ADA and people have put out there, as this goes on, it's horrifying to think what else they're going to find.
What to do? I mean, what to do? It is a horrible situation. It's dehumanizing. I'm going to go ahead to say at this point, Elizabeth, via her parents and Junior's parents, plus the Smiths that are big Bill Goddard fans, don't get me going on the children. It's a dehumanizing situation. Do you guys have a little bit more time? Because I've got some more to dig into. First, I'm going to show you what YouTube is doing. Hi, crime lines and lies. Your video, good morning, have you heard about this? Well, you will today. Elizabeth is 33 with 16 living. Oh, looks like I didn't finish my sentence. Has been removed from YouTube. But yet you all are here. This is not a copyright or community guideline strike. This does not affect your channel status. Why can't we talk about this?
Good question. That might explain why, absolutely, and I apologize to everyone in chat. I tried every which way to link StreamYard, to link channel memberships. Nothing would work.
I'm going to get a hold of YouTube chat in a little bit, and we're just going to have us a little come to Jesus meeting. But guess what? I'll be running away.
Yep. Absolutely no links to anything would work.
Nope, no links to anything. Well, I tell you what, I'm really tired of this BS. We have a damn constitution in this country. I can't speak about other countries. I mean, if I wanted to, I could call Aggie a filthy whore right now, and she can't do a damn thing about it. I'm always careful with my language. Not that she is. Hey, our friend Lisa Durr is going in for surgery tomorrow. Everybody take a second and wish her get wells.
Best of luck, Lisa.
Lisa Lee said, Brooks, I haven't seen anything about her family be involved. Where did you come by it at? I don't mean they're involved in the abuse of the children. I mean that they signed their daughter over to someone that I'm going to go ahead and assume has some sort of sexual deviancy. And they knew they had 16 grandchildren. And they knew that their daughter had 2 twin stillbirths. And nothing was done about it. Can you do anything about it? I don't know. Good question, though.
But we do want to get into the latest that we're learning out of this really horrific child abuse case out of Vinton County. So this is a story that the layers of the onion just keep unraveling. This all happened in Hamden, which is just south of MacArthur, there in Vinton County. 4 people have been arrested. It's the parents and the grandparents, as we're told by the AG's office, the Attorney General's office. So all who have been arrested and now charged with 16 counts of child endangerment are Gary Jr., Gary Sr., along with Christina and Elizabeth Siders. So these are the 4 people we believe, at least according right now to the information that we've been given by the Vinton County Sheriff's Office, the Vinton County Prosecutor, and AG.
All right, before we go forward with this and what has been confirmed, if everyone could take a second to hit the like, and if you're in the bushes and you're watching on the replay, please make sure you're subscribed because, hey, we love chatting with you. Teresa Baker, it's been reported that the total number of children were 21, set of twins buried, another 3 unaccounted for. I did not read that, but thank you. Thank you for that update. They've only had a hearing. Trial is not anywhere near. And by the way, Ohio is a beautiful state. I have seen some comments. I'll tell you what, they got the prettiest bridges, Denny. They really do. And very, very smooth interstates and highways. Not like Indiana. It's pothole city over there. So I have seen some comments going, well, it's the usual suspects because it's Ohio. And I'm like, oh, shut up. Just shut up.
G. Wilson, that Elizabeth and Gary Jr. are the parents, and then Christina and Gary Sr. are the grandparents of all of these children. We know that it didn't happen that law enforcement we now know that the law enforcement didn't get there due to anything dealing with these children.
No, they said there was a parallel investigation going on that led them to this house.
Right.
And then when they went into the house to execute the search warrant, that's when they found the 16 kids in a literal 12 by 12 room. And they believe they had been in there for 4 years.
Right.
There was feces on the ground, other bacteria. A lot of these kids, they don't even know how to speak. The 18-year-old, we've been told, is can't even write their name. Just horrible living conditions that the sheriff there said basically livestock animals have been treated.
Because we don't know how many, if any of them, ever went to school. We know the younger ones did not, but we don't know about the older ones.
Yeah. And from what investigators said yesterday, they moved around quite a bit to kind of avoid, to keep hiding their kids, actually.
And we, digging into kind of some of their background and looking into some of the things that we've been told by people, we know this family for a long time lived around Gallipolis down in Gallia County, right there across from West Virginia. Carla Rogner spent some time yesterday really digging into this family's history and where they've moved around to. We're going to go ahead and take a listen to what Carla kind of found out about the Siders.
Sinclair, do we know what the parallel investigation was for? I can only assume, which will only make an ass out of me, that it has to do with the indecent exposure. Again, assumption.
Vinton County prosecutor referred to Gary Sr. and Christina as the grandparents and said Elizabeth and Gary Jr. were parents, but would not say if Elizabeth was the mother of all 16 children. We learned through a marriage record from West Virginia that Gary Siders Jr. wed Elizabeth in 2008 when she was just 15 years old. That's the same year the first child was born. We looked through the family's criminal records. Aside from a few traffic issues, a DUI for Gary Sr. in 1998 was the most serious offense we could find.
Hey, Gigi.
Hi. Sorry, StreamYard just gave up on me.
Well, everything's getting messy today. I can't put in links. I got YouTube all confused about things that has nothing to do with anything. Criminal Med, did Junior have any siblings? Yep. Danny Dane said, right, it is, but you do know that story, Brooks. That's all I caught of it. I do know. I do. Thank you for reminding me. So all they have on Perverto 1 is a DUI from 1998. That's almost 30 years ago.
Would it even stand?
No, that's done and over. It doesn't anywhere align with what was going on in the home. You know what that tells me? Deep underground.
Mm-hmm.
They kept everything as private as possible.
I mean, they lived in total isolation, a bubble.
Yeah.
If you want to call it lived. Well, managed to survive in their bubble, I'll put it that way.
Hash Brown said, thanks, Brooks, for not making us all look like idiots. That's from there, LOL. Girl, I know what you mean, because I'm from Oklahoma, okay? We all know how the Sooner State is. Love being called tornado bait. And they're not going anywhere until they cough up $30,000. Where will they go? I don't know, because that house is uninhabitable. No one is going to that house, probably ever again. They're probably going to give it the old Cleveland 3 treatment and bulldoze it. Robin is new here. Everybody, please, 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 please welcome our new friends. Robin said, I'm new to this channel. Thank you. And just popped in. I started a video at the beginning, so I'm behind. This mom is no victim. She was a victim 10 years ago. Not anymore. She could have gotten help. That's exactly what a lot of people have been saying. At some point, she knew better, but didn't do better.
Kevin Landers took a dive into, because we talk about 12 by 12 and it's hard to visualize, the size of that. 12 by 12, 10 by 10 is about the size of a standard home bedroom before, and if you don't really have a visual idea of that, it's hard to just, really visualize how tight that would be for 16 people. So we're talking 144 square feet. Mm-hmm. That's not a lot for 16 people. Kevin Landers really dug into this and some of the reaction that authorities had to this.
According to investigators, the 16 children lived in a space this big. This is a 12 by 12 box. There was no access to restrooms, but this cramped.
Oh my gosh. That's as big as my bathroom. Obviously, I'm no architect, but he's showing how big that is. That's as big as my bathroom. What on earth? And they were all cramped in there? Great question, Hash Brown. If everybody that walked upon the property could smell it, why could no one else? We've already heard people from the dollar store. I can't wait for them to get to Circle K. They said they stunk. They stunk to Cuba and back. We, Scottish Mom, can I ask where and how they got the money for this brood to live? Well, I could use my mean Brooks voice and tell you, or I could use my nice Brooks voice and tell you. It's called the United States of America taxpayers. Okay? Exactly. Hash Brown supports them. Dainty supports them. Summer supports them. Yeah. Angel P supports them. Poppy Red Mustang supports them. And will continue for the rest of their natural lives.
The area only tells part of the story.
I can still smell. I can't get the smell. I cannot get the smell off of me or away from me.
The images from inside this Vinton County home continue to haunt those who are building a case against the people who created it.
A large number of people, though, the children were kept in a roughly 12 by 12 area. It seems like is where they've spent the most of the last 4 years.
7 of the children needed hospitalization. 1 is in intensive care in critical condition.
It looked like almost feral animals.
Investigators say none appeared to have ever gone to school.
Some of these children couldn't even speak.
The question is, where will these children go from here? How will the state protect them? Who will take them? Otis Corcoran is the executive director of Athens County Children's Services.
If what I hear is correct, it's difficult in the fact of what they've gone through, but it's also difficult because of the number of children. So even if these children were totally healthy, it's difficult to place that many children in such a short period of time.
He says in cases like this, it tests the system.
It does test the system because you got to coordinate. And plus, given the time period, you got to move pretty quick. So getting everybody on the same page, finding out what you need, and having everyone really move into action to make sure we're doing the very best we can for these children.
And so again, these are the 4 adults that we know to be living in that home. So
Right.
Gary Siders Sr., Gary Siders Jr.
Adults living in the home, smelling the poop, noticing that they've only lived there for 4 years, okay? And there's so much feces. That the paint is peeling off the wall. Well, hello, Yolanda. She said, hello, everyone. I'm new to the channel. So sad to be joining under such horrific conditions. My heart is broken that human life has been so mistreated. I am telling you. Robin, her parents can be charged for child endangerment in regards to her kids since they knew. Well, I'm kind of hoping that happens. I am really hoping, because accountability is what we need. And welcome to all our new friends.
Elizabeth Siders, Christina Siders.
All 4 charged with 16 counts of child endangerment. They're being held on $300,000 each on bond for this. Now, there's a lot of people out there that are like, how could this happen? So
How did it fall through?
How did this fall through the cracks? And, we kind of heard, Vinton County is about 13,000 people.
It's a very small community.
It's a small community, and
they're specifically in the village of Hamden too, which is even smaller.
Which is about a couple hundred people. And I grew up in a county about this size, that a very similarly rural community and people. To find foster families in a county that size for that many kids all at once is a Herculean task.
Well, that are severely traumatized.
Right. It's a right. So it's going to be and we heard that from the Athens County.
A foster family? Are you kidding me? They don't just need a place to crash. They need specialized help. And I hope they don't mess it up like the state of California did with the Turpin family. And I will say, the Turpins don't have anything on these people.
Just shuffle through them.
Now, he says he's left wondering whether there was something he could have done.
And it makes me question my own actions, whether or not I should have asked them about it consistently, either not asked about their hygiene or see if they needed anything, or anything I could have done to maybe prevent this in any way, because it looked like there were signs.
Others say it's a sobering reminder.
It's scary to think that there's monsters that live amongst you.
And, I guess, you hear from the Dollar General employee who is like, well, she always seemed pregnant at the, anytime I saw her, why didn't I do something? But I guess, if in that situation, you see that, you see so many people all the time,
right?
That it probably is just something that you lose kind of track of time, and that
and you're allowed to have a
when was
lot
the
of
last
babies.
time?
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if that's a family's choice, that's their choice.
Yeah.
Okay, look. The woman at the dollar store, it's not her damn business how many times Elizabeth walked in with a pregnant belly. Okay? Now, let's remember that it has been reported, I do not know for a fact because I do not live there, that there were tons of like Chiquita banana boxes around their house because they went to the food bank quite a bit. Hash Brown said locals are upset because now this is what they'll be known for. Nah, it'll die down. I'm telling you, it will. It'll die down or something else will happen. But no one is judging the state of Ohio or that county. I am judging the hell. Maureen, stop protecting child abusers, you stupid bitch. I'm not protecting them. Are you okay, Maureen? Maureen, let's all give some internet hugs to Maureen because I'm not protecting these people. Come on, everybody, all together, all at once, say, it's going to be okay, Maureen. Damn, Maureen. Jeez.
I know plenty of, families who have 11, 12 kids, but
I don't know any.
It is a difficult, this is an interesting case that is one that we haven't seen in a long, long time.
Not especially in this area.
Right. And we hear, we've heard from Andy Wilson that he's never come across something like this.
No, and he's been in law enforcement for decades.
Right. And I think now the focus, besides the prosecution of these four adults, it comes to the focus of how do we best care for these children? How do we find the resources for them? And because you're also struggling with, you separate 16 siblings across the county.
Right, but they need to be protected right now, and they need a lot of help.
So,
but the governor, the state is rallying around these children.
And it's also important to note, because the state is investigating this, and I would bet the farm that these 16 counts of child endangerment will not be the only ones.
No, they expect
because
more
the BCI is deepering this investigation because they want anybody who has any knowledge of this family to come forward. It doesn't matter how deep your knowledge is. If you know anything about these folks, if you've ever come in contact with them, they do want to hear from you. And the number for that is 855 BCI Ohio. It's a hotline to them. So that, once again, 855 BCI Ohio.
Sad, horrific, deplorable, degrading, dehumanizing. Does anyone have another adjective I can put into this? I don't know. Don't know why they moved around so much. Don't know why nobody knew how to pick up poo-poo. Do not know why a 33-year-old woman has had 16 live births and 2 sets of twins that have passed before. I don't get it. It's not an Ohio problem. I've seen some comments. Oh, that's how they live in Ohio. That's how they live in Ohio. Okay. No, there's no they. Well, you know, they lived in West Virginia. Okay, again, has nothing to do with the damn state. This is their issue. Janaka, what are you doing? Who got a membership? Hey, listen, this has been a great show. And if you like to talk about true crime and you like a place where you can express your opinions and you like a place where you feel welcome and someone's always going to tell you hi and comment on something you say, stick around because we have a lot of true crime to do. I want to say thank you so much to Wee Scott, who gifted a Crime Lines and Lies membership, Kels, who became a new member of Crime Lines and Lies, the family. Janica, thank you so much for gifted memberships. And we just keep it growing and growing. You know why? Because we're on the right side of history. All right? Conversation's great. Mods are great. Friends are great. And sad fact of the matter is, what we talk about on here isn't great. So y'all enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. We have 2 shows tomorrow. We have one on Crime Lines and Lies, and we have another one on Next Topic with CLL. You guys have a great rest of your day. Mwah.